Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Sockeye Fire is now the nation's #1 priority for firefighting assets, with coordinators overseeing the response saying more were already arriving Tuesday.
The incident commander of the 7,500-acre fire said this afternoon that the fire appears to have been ignited by people. Between 50 and 100 structures have been destroyed by the flames and 200 people evacuated from the area north of Willow. Investigations have been launched into the exact cause of the fire as well as possible looting in the evacuation area. According to fire officials, troopers are still conducting evacuations on a voluntary basis, with some people deciding to stay in place despite the flames advancing from the north.
We're started evacuation procedures for residents in that area, and they ended up expanding that evacuation area when the fire started to spot across the Kenai River, north to south. But they were able to chase down those spot fires with helicopter and boat, and using a boat in the Kenai River and using a helicopter, and successfully kept that fire on the north side of the Kenai, which is a good thing.
Dry and windy conditions have prompted red flag warnings across the state, cautioning people to be careful of causing wildfires. Low relative humidity, high temperatures, and high winds are causing fires statewide. Firefighters are battling the Tanana Slough fire near Tok. Division of Forestry Fire Prevention Officer Jim Schwarber says the lightning-caused fire is growing exponentially thanks to weather conditions. It's currently sized at 500 acres. Conditions in Juneau are also ideal for wildfires, with the Chisana River 2 fire reaching close to 9,000 acres. The Tanana Slough fire has a chance to affect the community of Dot Lake. Firefighters are responding to the blaze with water-carrying aircraft. Schwarber is asking interior residents to be careful when enjoying the outdoors to mitigate the wildfire danger.
A Ruby man is in jail accused of severely injuring one man and threatening to shoot several others. 28-year-old Ivan Vent is charged with felony assault, felony DUI, and other charges. According to troopers, Vent injured a 25-year-old man so badly he was medevaced to Fairbanks for, quote, advanced care. Now, Vent reportedly threatened to shoot 3 other individuals who were attempting to help the victim. Troopers say he then drove both an ATV and vehicle intoxicated into a ditch and then fled on foot. Vent is due to be arraigned in Fairbanks District Court tomorrow.
After remaining combative with local authorities, bail has been set for the North Pole man who was the subject of a standoff that lasted over 2 hours. 58-year-old Arthur Farmer was taken into custody by Fairbanks Police's tactical team early yesterday morning. According to court documents, Farmer was under the influence of alcohol and acted erratically, assaulting the owner of the home he was in. Responding officers say they were greeted at the door by Farmer, who was wielding a large samurai sword. After negotiations, Farmer was taken into custody. At this point, he is only facing a misdemeanor assault charge. Bail was set this afternoon at $2,500.
Another man who engaged law enforcement in a standoff in the Fairbanks area appeared in Superior Court this afternoon. 36-year-old J. Cobb Whitmore is charged with felony assault, burglary, and criminal trespassing. He pleaded not guilty to all charges. According to an affidavit, Whitmore assaulted his ex-girlfriend at a Gold Hill residence, then left the scene. A witness to the assault told troopers Whitmore was armed and staying in a nearby shack. Following a 3-hour standoff, Whitmore surrendered and was jailed. Trial has been set for August.
A meeting is scheduled tonight for the residents of Moose Creek after numerous well samples taken revealed the presence of perfluorooctane sulfonate, or PFOs. Sorry about that. The PFOs allegedly come from historical firefighting foam used at nearby Eielson Air Force Base for nearly 30 years. According to a release, 57 wells in Moose Creek were tested. 46 of those wells tested positive for high levels of PFOs. Officials say those who have tested positive are asked to refrain from ingesting the water from the wells. The Air Force is providing residents with clean water for drinking and cooking while it investigates long-term treatment options. The meeting is being held at the Moose Creek Fire Station. We will have more tomorrow on the Fairbanks Evening News and News Center Final.
All right. When we come back, we'll tell you about a cat. Now, this is interesting. Who traveled from El Paso, Texas to Fort Wainwright and survived after the 64-day journey.
Texas kitty. All right, it's time for another health report as well. This week, we're going to explore what you can do this summer to trim some of those pounds. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. The U.S. Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on the Interior and Environment today approved Senator Lisa Murkowski's legislation to transfer federal land to the state of Alaska as part of an interior appropriations bill. Murkowski chairs the subcommittee and says the equal value land transfer would allow for the construction of a road between King Cove and Cold Bay. The road was rejected by Interior Secretary Sally Jewell a year and a half ago. Murkowski contends the road will give King Cove residents access to Cold Bay's airstrip for medical emergencies. Also included in the bill is a spending provision that blocks the Environmental Protection Agency from using fiscal year 2016 funds to implement the waters of the U.S. rule that was ruled out in May. Murkowski says WOTUS will block economic development in Alaska and wants to stop the rule in its tracks with this funding provision.
We hope that it will address some of the concerns, particularly for those in Fairbanks who recognize that with this expanded definition, effectively all development by anybody at any time would be subject to a 404C permit.
Healthcare topped the agenda at last night's North Pole City Council meeting. The council voted to renew the city's health insurance plan with AW-REN. The new plan raises employee deductibles from $300 to $375. The council did remove language that would have disallowed coverage for employees who are also covered under a spouse's insurance plan. Earlier, the body voted 6-1 to approve an increase to the level of employee contribution for insurance and disability benefits. The city has historically paid the entire amount of an employee's monthly premium. However, employees will now make a $45 monthly contribution for their coverage and pay a $175 monthly premium for dependent coverage. Councilman Michael Welch's amendment to drop those numbers to $25 and $150 failed 5-2. City Mayor Bryce Ward defended the figures he proposed in the ordinance.
The reason why I brought the numbers forward as we were looking at is because we have some significant issues in front of us. We lost $200,000 in property tax revenue from the refinery. We have a double-digit increase on our premiums for health care.
It just all adds up, and it gets to be a significant impact on some employees' wages when they're only making $20 an hour.
A cat traveling from El Paso, Texas to Fort Wainwright cashed in one of its 9 lives after accidentally spending more than 2 months without food or water in a moving box. Moosey was thought to have run away before his owners started making the trek to Alaska. But when the 2-year-old cat was heard calling from a futon container last week, Kimberly Chelf and her husband Jesse realized their feline family member had been couch surfing for 64 days. Moosey was immediately taken to Mount McKinley Animal Hospital to be treated for severe dehydration and malnutrition. People from across the world have been supportive on social media. Chelf has raised more than $1,000 on a GoFundMe account in just 3 days. Mount McKinley veterinarian Hayden Neville says Moosey's case is also drawing attention from the medical community.
Moosey certainly lived longer without food than any reports that I know of. I've seen reports of cats living 6 or 7 weeks without food, but he has exceeded that. So there are some specialists around the country who are paying attention to his case because they're very interested in seeing how he recovers and how we're doing things.
Dieting can be hard to do unless you have someone there to give you that extra push. Monty Bowen has more details on this week's health report.
With the good summer weather we've been having, a lot of people are out walking or jogging. It's a prime time to be able to get outdoors and exercise to stay in shape and or lose weight. If the goal is to drop pounds, you might want to let somebody else choose your diet. A study finds people struggle to stick to a diet when they pick their own plan.
People were choosing diets that of foods that already they were eating, so potentially that wasn't getting them out of their comfort zone and really getting them to change their lifestyle.
Researchers at the Veteran Affairs Medical Center in Durham, North Carolina, split 207 people into 2 groups. One group chose the diet plan they wanted to follow. The other was assigned a diet plan. After 48 weeks, it turns out those who chose their diet lost less weight and had more trouble adhering to it. Researchers say choosing a diet based on food preferences may make it difficult for dieters to scale down on the amount they eat.
So if people are picking a diet that allows them to eat the foods that they're currently eating, it might lead them to overeat. And so it's really making patients aware that they may want to avoid that and maybe look for something else.
Complete findings for the study titled Effect of Allowing Choice of Diet on Weight Loss can be found online in the journal Annals of Internal Medicine. This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Health Report is brought to you by the Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic, located in the Medical Dental Arts Building, and by Interior Women's Health, located on 1626 30th Avenue.
That was a pretty remarkable little cat there.
No, the previous story? Sure.
Yeah, Moosey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Resilient.
Very resilient, that's right. And I found the perfect diet plan, considering the Health Report. Work 3 jobs and you never have time to eat.
There you go.
Joe Cook is up next with sports. He has more on a change to the NAHL landscape.
Also, a former coach lands a job at Lake State. Those stories and more with Joe Cook after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here with your local Tuesday Sportscast. It seems like the North American Hockey League is making changes or adding something each offseason. This offseason is no different. Today, the NAHL announced its new division alignment for the 2015-2016 season, which is also the league's 40th anniversary. The Midwest, Central, and South divisions will now have 6 teams each. The Midwest division will consist of your Fairbanks Ice Dogs, the current Robertson Cup champion Minnesota Wilderness, Coulee Region Chill, Kenai River Brown Bears, and the new additions in the Janesville Jets and Springfield Junior Blues. The Minnesota Magicians moved to the Central Division. The new East Division will have 4 teams: the relocated Ashton Rebels, formerly the Rio Grande Killer Bees, the Johnstown Tomahawks, the newly formed New Jersey Junior Titans, and the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights. The NHL now has 22 teams in 4 divisions spanning 10 states. For the full conference alignment and division makeup, visit the sports page on Webster11.com. A former Nanack volleyball coach and player has landed on her feet. Mallory Larrañaga was recently named the new head coach for the Lake Superior State Lakers. The former Nanack and Oregon native was let go by UAF at the end of last season due to alleged recruiting violations. Larrañaga is the only All-American in volleyball for Alaska and was inducted in the Nanack Hall of Fame in 2010. She was an assistant coach for 2 seasons before leading the program the past 2 years. Her record is 7-48 as a head coach. The Lakers are in the Division II Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. They have 1 senior and they went 2-24 last year. One of the best classes of student athletes for the interior, they are still signing national letters of intent. North Pole's Jason Donald recently made his college choice. The hockey and baseball standout decided to play baseball at the next level. He signed to Mesabi Range College to become a Norseman. Mesabi Range is a junior college program in Virginia, Minnesota. The Norsemen have made 11 straight regional berths. Donald, who did a little bit of everything for North Pole, is a 2-time All-MAC Conference infielder for the Patriots. A newly formed duo won a local volleyball title recently at the Midnight Sun Volleyball Tournament this past weekend. Jess Hill and Tori Hadishel won the women's division title. It's the first time they even played together. They hit it off, to say the least. They beat Bev and Candace Krupa in the final game of the best-of-3 championship round 15-4 to win the title. Marley Cunningham and Kate Quinn placed 3rd overall. Mike Quinn and Gavin Meggert won the men's title over Brandon Hall and Ryan Hadishel. Mike Rudd and Riley Bartholomew placed 3rd in the men's division. This one is for the Chicago hockey fans. The Chicago Blackhawks are the 2015 Stanley Cup champions, and they won it in Chicago. It hasn't been done in a long time. Last night, the Blackhawks took on the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 6. It was another tight game as Corey Crawford and Ben Bishop deterred quality shots in the first couple of periods. Chicago runs on Duncan. Duncan Keith broke the scoreless tie with about 3 minutes left in the second period by following up with a putback shot for a score. Patrick Kane's goal in the 3rd period would clinch it. And Corey Crawford, he was a wall, making 25 saves for the shutout. The Blackhawks, they win 2-0, win their 3rd Stanley Cup in 6 years. It's the first time since 1938 that the Blackhawks won the cup at home. Keith was awarded the Conn Smythe Trophy for being the most valuable player in the playoffs. He's the first defenseman to win the award since 2007. Chicago captain Jonathan Toews has now won 3 cups, 2 Olympic golds, a world championship, and 2 Conn Smythe awards, and he's just 27 years old. What a career. And that's it for sports tonight. For more KTVF sports, visit our Twitter and YouTube page and stay up to date with the KTVF mobile app. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into a Tuesday night edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again talking about weather, and it was a day I just didn't want to be here at all. It was just so gorgeous out there. Lots of sunshine, temperatures right around 80 degrees. Beautiful weather, and we are looking at this continue all the way through the weekend into the first part of next week at the latest, well, the earliest actually, it'll be ending, but it doesn't show any signs of ending. We'll tell you more about that and talk about 80-degree temperatures coming up in just a little bit. Our photograph tonight, a beautiful halo shot captured by Shirley Gum. She was able to capture this a few weeks ago. As you can see, gorgeous picture once again. And as always, if you have a photograph you want to share, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. And we'll be more than happy to share it with the rest of the audience. Your numbers, 78 for the high today, right now 75. The low last night, 49. Record high, 89. That was set in 1914. And in 1938, it dropped down to 36 for the overnight record low. Your sunrise and sunset are getting really close now as we approach that shortest day of the year. 21 hours, 42 minutes of daylight, a gain of 2 minutes from yesterday. On the satellite and radar, a few more clouds moving through, mainly just some fair weather cumulus clouds. There's no real lift to them, so we're not getting any kind of shower activity. There were a few thunderstorms in the eastern side of the state today, but that's about it. Other than that, everybody else is looking pretty good. On the big map, you can see temperatures, once again, fairly comfortable around the Anchorage Bowl, close to 80 degrees there. It's the same for Kodiak. A little cooler around Juneau with some scattered showers and very light rain in the Ketchikan area. Along the Aleutian chain, Cold Bay at 61 degrees, and a pretty good contrast in temperatures where it was Bethel 73, but only 44 degrees for the high at Nome. 48 at Barrow, very nice weather there, and cloudy skies, and partly cloudy skies at Fort Yukon, 66 degrees. Lower 48 weather, the hot temperatures continue over to the west again, 112 degrees at Phoenix, 107 in Las Vegas. Cooled down a little bit in Seattle, just 72 degrees there. Denver back up to 85 degrees. Widespread rain over Texas, and we'll tell you why in just a little bit. More showers and thunderstorms around the Minneapolis area, too. The hot temperatures continue over the deep south, although they are not as warm as they were yesterday around St. Louis and Chicago, but very hot in Washington, D.C., 96 degrees there, 94 in Atlanta, some showers around the Miami area. On the satellite and radar, once again, this is the main focus of all the weather going on right now. The remnants of what was once Tropical Storm Bill continue to move slowly inland, but bringing tons of rain with it, and expected to continue moving off to the north and then off to the east, while out to the west, skies are clear for the most part. Nothing going on there. The overall picture for this rainfall is not good for folks in Texas. 8 inches or more expected in this dark green area, with a little bit heavier, the heaviest, the dark green area, the lighter green you go out is the less rainfall totals, but you can see still 4 to 8 inches in a widespread area, and then moving off to the east, like I said. And the overall jet stream, once again, is helping to move that system over to the east. Well, you can see out to the west, again, very hot temperatures. Going to be in the hundreds in the San Joaquin Valley tomorrow, and along the jet stream to the north, maybe some thunderstorms there. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Here's what it looks like in the northern sections. Mostly sunny skies at Barrow and Fort Yukon. Just a few clouds for Nome. Here in the interior, we're looking at a wonderful day. Lots of sunshine for the region and warmer temperatures than today, right around 80 degrees expected in the Fairbanks area. Over southeast Alaska, looks like a few showers for Juneau and mainly cloudy skies at Ketchikan. Well, out to the southwest, we're looking at, for the most part, cloudy skies and fog in Cold Bay and sunny skies for Bethel and Kodiak. And down around the Anchorage Bowl, sunny skies with a little smoke still possible for the Anchorage folks. Sunshine expected for Homer and Valdez. And one more time, a reminder, we are having ourselves a red flag situation going on. Right on through tomorrow, temperatures will warm once again with humidity levels dropping down into the teens. The warning will continue through Wednesday right now, but it could be extended, so we'll keep an eye on that. Our forecast for tonight, not as warm as last night, but still continued clear skies. And tomorrow's forecast, moving up over that 80-degree mark once again, sunny skies, and the 5-day outlook, as you can see here. Look at that temperature on Thursday, 83 degrees, 82 on Friday, and 80s all the way across the board, right on into Monday, with overnight lows also very mild in the low to mid-50s. No precipitation in the forecast. The thing we're just going to keep our eyes on and make sure we keep on top of is the potential for any fires going on, because obviously we are getting into a very critical situation right now as they are down south.
Temperatures are hot and it is very dry, so yes, we need to be very careful.
By all means, definitely. But it looks great for weekend activities for Midnight Sun.
Well, not only that, but Father's Day, right?
Yep.
Is that
Father's Day, yeah.
It looks
I
fantastic.
thought it was this
Gotta
past
remember
Sunday, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Maybe I'll get the day off. I'm not sure of my 3 jobs. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC 90 News, yet another Republican has decided he will enter the presidential race when the multimillionaire Donald Trump made his announcement today. That's up next with Lester Holt.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webster11.com.
All right, from all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.
Night.